Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This video is an introduction to impedance and reaction diagram as part of power system analysis. So let's first of all briefly understand what is single line diagram. Now if we have a balanced YY connection as shown here, the source and the load, they are all in YY connected and balance. And what does balance means is that there is no current flow through the neutral. I'm sure you must have learned this in the electrical network analysis. If you don't understand, I would recommend that you watch my video from electrical network analysis on power system. I think it's chapter 12. Okay. So if you have a balanced system, then what we do is we just take one phase. This is one phase and solve to find out all the parameters, and then we simply multiply to get the results for three phase. And from here, since there is in the balanced system there is no current flowing through the neutral, therefore this wire can be eliminated, and whatever is left is called the single line diagram. So the whole system is represented by just one single line diagram. Now the purpose of single line diagram or one line diagram is to supply in concise form or in a simple form the significant information about the system. The importance of different features of a system varies with the problem under consideration, and the amount of information included on the diagram depends on the purpose for which the diagram is intended. So it is not a fixed that you have to include this and you don't have to include this, but primarily it depends on the purpose of the diagram. For instance, the location of a circuit breaker and relays is unimportant in making a load study. So we don't need to show circuit breakers if we are doing a load study. But on the other hand, determination of the stability of the system under transient condition resulting from a fault depends on the speed at which the relays and circuit breakers operate. So if you want to do the stability analysis, you got to study what happens when there is a fault and how quickly the circuit breaker isolate the system. And therefore, in that case, you must include the circuit breaker information in the one line diagram. And some of the symbols that are used have been shown here. So this is a rotating machine, a transformer, two winding transformer, three winding transformer, fuse, current transformer, power circuit breaker, air circuit breaker, three phase, three wire delta connection, three phase Y neutral ground, three phase Y, this is neutral ungrounded and this is neutral grounded. And these potential transformer and the meters, current meters and voltmeters. Okay, now here is a complete diagram, a single line diagram of electrical power system. Now you can see we have a generator, it's grounded through a reactor. This is a reactor or reactance. Then there is another generator and it is grounded through a resistance. And we have a load connected. This is the primary bus or input bus. Then this is connected to a step-up transformer, transmission line, step-down transformer, bus, and here we have another generator connected at this end, and then there is a load. On the diagram, information about the loads, ratings of the generator and transformers, and the reactances of the different components of the circuit is often given or mentioned, although we have not given it here. but it may be available or may be given. Now some of the equivalent circuits that we'll be using, this is a single phase equivalent circuit of a generator, so a rotating machine, armature resistance and a reactance. Similarly, this is equivalent circuit of a transformer. This is the equivalent circuit of a transmission line. This is pi model. You have also what is called T model. And this is a load. The lagging load, that means it has a reactance, inductive reactance and resistance. Okay, now let's see the impedance and reactance diagram in figure 1.26. This is figure 1.26. Combines the equivalent circuit for various components. So it is combining the equivalent for generator, load, transformer, transmission line, again transformer and load and reactor. So this diagram, which was a single line diagram, this has now been represented in the form of a per phase impedance diagram here, and you can see these two generators, then this load here, transformer here, transmission line, this transformer, and load and generator. So this is the basic impedance diagram. An impedance because it has resistance and reactance. Now the impedance diagram does not include the current limiting impedances shown in one line diagram. So like these are the current limiting impedances. So they have not been shown in this diagram. Okay, and the ground, because no current flows in the ground under balanced conditions. So this has not been shown because under balanced condition no current flows in the neutral line or in the ground line. Since the shunt current of a transformer is usually insignificant compared to the full load current, the shunt admittance is usually omitted in the equivalent diagram. So this is the shunt winding. So shunt current is neglected, and we'll discuss this more, but just for the transformer you can see this has been neglected. Only the windings combined, even resistance has been excluded. So we'll see here now. The resistance is often omitted since the inductive reactance of a system is much larger than the resistance. So inductive reactance is much more greater, therefore resistances are also omitted, and you can see we have omitted all the resistances here. The load which do not involve rotating machinery have little effect on the total load current during a fault and are usually omitted. So these loads are simple loads, does not have rotating machinery, so they have also been omitted here, this load as well as load B. Now if we decide to simplify our calculation for fault current by omitting all static loads, all resistances, the shunt admittance of each transformer and the capacitance of the transmission line, the impedance diagram reduces to the per phase reactance diagram as shown here. So now you can see we have for simplification of calculation, we have omitted all the resistors, we have omitted the load, we have omitted the shunt of the transformer, we have omitted the shunt capacitances of the transmission line, And so this is the simplified diagram that we get. These simplifications apply to fault calculations only and not for power flow studies. So if you are doing power flow studies, then you have to include all the omitted parameters. And a further note, if a computer is available, such simplification is not necessary. So in computer calculations, you can add all those. But for the time being, we'll move with this. This is the simplified diagram. Then percentage values are used. The reactances of generator, transformer, and reactors are generally expressed in percentage value to permit quick short circuit calculations. So you have to keep this point in mind. Now to elaborate the concept, I have taken an example, a simple example from the book by Mr. Surti. And the question is that the two generators are rated at this and this respectively are connected in parallel to a bus. So these are the two generators connected in parallel to the bus. The bus bar feeds two motors and the rating is given here. So these are the two motors, they are being fed. The reactance of each generator is 12% and of each motor is 15%. So these are the reactances in percentage. And assume a 50 MVA 10 kV base. So this will be used for calculation, and then draw the reactance diagram. So we'll use this formula. The reactance PU new is equal to reactance PU old, so it's PU or percentage, multiplied by kilovolt old, kilovolt new, and multiplied by MVA new over MVA old. So you have to just keep in mind that this is old divided by new, here it is new divided by old, the MVAs. So use this formula. First find the reactance of generator 1. So X1, X old. Now generators, the reactance of each generator is 12%, so we are writing 12%. kV old over kV new. Now kV is 11 here given and the base is 10 kV, so 11 over 10 whole square. And then MVA new and MVA old. Now MVA for the first motor is 10 MVA, so and the new is 50 MVA, so 50 MVA divided by 10. So this is the reactance in percentage, 72.6%. Using the same formula, now we find for generator 2, where both the generators have reactance 12%, so 12 kV also same, and 11 kV here divided by 10 kV here, but the MVA rating is different. Now, MVA in the first case was 10 and in the second case is 15. Base is 50, so 50 divided by 15 in this case, and so this will be 48.4%. So this is for the generator. Now we can also find for the motor same way. So for motor, now the motor reactance percentage is 15, so we'll write 15. And the motor rating, now let's see, the motor has 9 kVA. The rated voltage of motors is 9 kVA, so 9. Base is 10, so 9 divided by 10 square. And now MVA rating, MVA base is 50 and the motor MVA is 10 MVA in the first and the 9 MVA in the second. 7 MVA in the first and 10 MVA in the second, so 7 MVA. So this will become 81%, and in the second case we just change this from 7.5 to 10. So this is the percentage rating or the reactance for the second motor. And now we can very easily draw the equivalent diagram. So the generator, it has the percentage reactance 72.6, second generator 48.4, and the two motors 81 and 60.75. So I hope this gives you an understanding about the reactance diagram. Thank you.